This is going to be one of today's more interesting finds. This Pinsetter was a failed to trigger call, and with the machine off, I could trip the ball detect beams. This is Vector Plus scoring, and I could hear the relay actuate inside of the circuit box. And I popped the cover off, and we're just barely hanging on by a couple of whiskers here. So we're going to put a new terminal end on that, and that should clear up this problem. It's pretty important to have a solid diagnostics process. So what they were doing is, with this failed to trigger, they were replacing the ball detect. But if we look down here, this ball detect, it's working just fine. It's kind of insane to keep changing the same part out over and over and over and over again and expecting something different to happen. So we've got a new wired terminal end here, and we're going to power it back on and see if we have a change. I'm sure that we will. Yep. There you go. Oh, brutal. Jesus. This is one of the cheap Harbor Freight 2-horse compressor duty motors. I'm not a huge fan of them. I know that new motors are very expensive, and there's a lot of incentive to go with a cheaper unit. But with that being said, you get what you pay for. She's not sounding so hot. Yeah, she sounds a little rough. So you can pay $200 a year and keep changing motors out, or you can pay what a good motor's gonna cost and not have to change it out for a decade or two or more. All right, I'm done ranting. So let's watch her run with all of the drive belts off. No bueno. No bueno for caca. This is what's going to go in. Thanks to a center a couple hours up the road. The good news is these have thermals, so we're clear for takeoff, because I don't know if that circuit box has thermal protection. These motors are substantially larger and a little more heavy. I'm gonna see if I can still wrestle one up onto the catwalk and lift this over my head. We'll find out. I'm not 20 anymore, so things like that become a little more difficult. But this should be pretty much good to go. We will have to double check pulley diameter here. I can't tell just by looking at it if this is jetback or A speed. If this is a smaller pulley, then we'll have to take the one from the old motor and then put it in here. Success! We did it! The next thing on their list is a lane that they say keeps stopping in 180 on first ball. But it's dark in here. I don't have any extra lights up yet. Our pit curtain is kind of flopping around here and getting tangled up in our pit linkage, and that could definitely be the problem. It could be so many other things as well. We don't know yet. We're gonna do our due diligence. I'm gonna go through and check everything. I didn't film any more on that motor swap out. It got really noisy and I didn't feel like yelling over Pinsetter noise, but the new motor's in. It's not a Harbor Freight motor, and it's nice and quiet. 180 release. Let's see what we can see. This is a true 180 stop, waiting for pins. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything yet. That doesn't mean that there isn't something there. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen anything of real significance yet, other than they have the reset button plugged in here. In a vast majority of these machines, they've been pulled out or disconnected. They have the mid-90s frameworks ball return trays up front on the approaches. And the reset buttons on those are notorious for getting stuck in the closed position. So they could have had a stuck reset button up front, and that certainly would cause the machine to stop at 180 degrees on first ball cycle. I'm gonna cycle this a little bit off camera and just see what I can see. We may find something, we may not. If I do, then I'll bring you back in. If not, the next time you see me, we will be on a different project. Well, we haven't seen anything out of whack yet, but if I lean on the reset button, keep it energized. There you go. Can you see the pins in the scissors? We're at 180 first ball. So that definitely lends some credibility to the stuck reset button theory. So we're gonna, for right now, we're gonna leave the reset button disconnected here on the circuit box and see if their issue goes away. I think that it will. Before we totally wrap everything up and get out of here onto the next thing, the question then becomes, why would the guest need to hit the reset button? If everything's working perfectly, the need for the guest up front to hit reset is very, very, very few and far between. So, there may be some more stuff going on here, but as far as stopping in 180 on first ball, we're all good here. This one's gonna be a little bit more interesting. I didn't quite understand the note on the board. I had interpreted the information to be that the machine was stuck on, you know, maybe the motor start contactor or motor start relay were sticking on, and I tested it. They aren't. And after digging in a little bit more, the info was that the scoring system is not turning the machine on and off. The scoring system uses, the installers like to use these Scotch locks, and they're kind of notorious for failure. So we're gonna look in here. We're gonna look at our manager's control circuit. The 3-pin connector is manager's control, and the scoring system ties in to terminals B and C to turn the machine on. The same way we made a little jumper when you turn it on back here, scoring system uses that same circuit. So I'm gonna get some light. We're gonna shine a light in there. We're gonna look at our wiring connections and see if maybe the problem is there. The other thing too is that the scoring cable goes down the side of the frame here, and it's possible that there may be some cable damage due to bowling balls. We've seen that happen here a few times in the recent past as well. This may or may not be related. We're zoomed in here on the motor start relay. Look at these really lovely solder connections in here. Yeah, this is what's the word I'm looking for? This is a shit show. Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate description. Wow. Well, let me bust out the soldering iron. Let's see if we can clean that up. That might be related. I'm not sure 100%, but that may be related to our problem. I mean, maybe our motor start relay is closing, but we're not meeting our circuits. Weird. I got these solder joints touched up just a little bit. They look a little better, but honestly they're pretty trash, but you know, at least they're soldered on now, right? They weren't before. This is kind of an awkward spot to work in. We have motors on swing plates here. Normally what I do is I will stand on the support right down there, but this motor is in my way, making it nearly impossible. So I have to hunch over and do this at a very awkward angle. We know that we have function through the rear on-off switch. Let's see if we have function through our manager's control up top. We do. Let's see if we have control through the scoring system now. Did not get it on camera, but this machine turns on and off with the scoring system now. So we should be done with this one. I think we are done for the day. We have some more projects on the list that we just didn't get done. I'm tired. I'm pooped. I've been averaging one day off a month at this point, and I'm exhausted. Tomorrow's gonna be a crash day. That means that I will be sleeping all day long. So let's pack up, let's go home, let's get some breakfast. Well, lunch at this point. I skipped breakfast. Probably shouldn't have done that, but we're done. Time to go home. Yeah, busted pit conveyor frame. We're not, nope, not today.